Good morning and good afternoon, all depending on where you're joining us from today. Happy Friday. Yay, it's Friday. I love Fridays if you know me. Fridays is my favorite day of the week. Um, just always have loved Fridays. I love the weekends, and this is like the day that I prep for the weekends. So I'm always tickled and thrilled to death on Fridays. Um, they're always my best days, anyways. So, welcome to Friday. Um, we've got a lot of things going on, right? We are just 54 days until the end of the year. 54 days to affect your income for this year. All right. What do you got planned? Do you have anything planned? Do you have any plays set and ready to go into motion? Well, that's what we're going to kind of talk about today. All right. So, welcome to Creating Opportunities, where we discuss different ways we can collaborate. We can bring up different strategies that we can do together and generate more business between the two of us, right? So that's the whole idea of today's focus. I'm your host, Bill Haga, Executive Loan Officer with Rocket Mortgage Local. I always stress local because of my local pricing is always a good 1% to 1.25% better than our home office, our call centers, um, anywhere else within our company, right? So that's huge. On a $500,000 purchase, that's going to save your client a minimum $5,000 just by referring them to me versus just letting them go and find their own financing. Okay. Because 9 out of 10 times, they're just going to get online and then they're going to go right to our call center and they're not going to get the best pricing that's available to them. Okay. So we always want to make sure and focus on that, right? All right. So today's agenda. First, I'd like to thank Marvell Tuesday, the real estate educator. She's with Home Team Realty Group, located in Fort Washington, Maryland. We actually collaborated and did a first time homebuyer event, virtual, of course, back on October 25th. And I had a blast. It was a great day, great time with her. She's super knowledgeable. I mean, she's a true boss, right? She is a boss of bosses. She's out there getting it done every day, and just had a real good time with her that day. She's super knowledgeable. So if you're a new buyer or a repeat buyer in that area, I would definitely contact her. Okay, she's solid. She knows the process. She's a negotiator. She's an educator, right? So if you're a first time home buyer, you really don't understand the process. She's a great agent to team up with and start that purchase ball rolling, right? Perfect. Thank you again, Marvell. Appreciate you and look forward to collaborating more as we finish out this 2025 year and we roll into 2026. So those are the type of things that I want to talk about. All right. But let's see here. Where am I in my notes? All right. So, like I mentioned, we got 50 plus days remaining, 54 counting today in this year. So, what's your game plan? How are you going to finish strong? I know that in sales, we always, in the beginning, we've got our whole plan laid out for the year, right? What we want to do, how much we want to hit, some things that we may want to do on the volunteer side in the community. Um, but that's what we do, right? We put a game plan together, a business plan, if you will. I know I do every year. I monitor it throughout the year, make sure I'm staying on pace, making sure that I'm doing the things that I wrote down that I said I was going to do different this year, right? Got to try new things, got to figure out what works, what doesn't work. Um, I'm all about what works, right? Who wants to waste time on things that don't work or their money? Not me. So I always use, the best that the office is doing, right? Who's the best one and what are they doing? So those are the types of things that I always try to focus on, right? How can I align my business to be similar and in line with theirs? We're doing the same thing. I should be able to obviously, bring in more, right? If I'm keeping up with pace with whoever that top dog is. So those are the things that I love to discuss. All right. So let's kind of dive into here. So another thing on the agenda, I'll finish the agenda here first. Your business, is it up or down for this year? It's been a tough year. Okay. We'll dive into some of that as well. And opportunities to jumpstart 2026. I heard something I thought was pretty cool. November, I'm thinking closing the year out where somebody else producing more than me said, well, Bill, this is a great time to jump on 2026 and get a head start. I like head starts. I like getting out there before everybody else and being set and being prepared, ready to rock. So, we're going to talk about some different things that we can do to get prepared for 2026 as well. All right. So let's jump into the 2025 final, right? We're coming to the final stretch. We're coming around turn 3 probably. And it all depends on how we're going to finish out these last 2 months and how our year is going to end up. So let's talk about this year. So this year, it's been tough, right? It's been a real tough one in the industry. Interest rates haven't come down like they said that they were going to. We're supposed to have multiple rate adjustments to lower the rates this year. We've seen a couple, and they weren't even substantial, right? So when we've got rates up in the sevens, they've come down a little bit in the sixes, but in everybody's eyes, they're still too high, right? Because we just came out of such a low interest rate market based off of what all happened with COVID and what was going on there. So some of the new buyers that are coming into the market are, wow, what happened? I saw rates that were like 2.5%, 3%. How in the world are they 6.5%, 7%? That's what happens, right? That's called inflation. Inflation hit us. That took us like somewhere in the 9% range of inflation, which, obviously interest rates followed that. Now, inflation somewhere around 3%. I haven't looked at it for a few days. It should be somewhere around, 2.9 to 3.1, a lot lower than 9%. But yet our rates are still up there in the, 6.5 range. So hopefully, as we turn this corner and we finish out this year, we start seeing some interest rate cuts based off of our economy, right? That's really what judges everything and sets everything into motion. All right. Um, so the whole idea is to find out and figure out how we can create opportunities, right? So what I'm doing, since the rates just dropped again that quarter, even though it really didn't fluctuate through the system like we wanted it to, because of the market already, eating that up. However, it's in the market. So when you've got things like this that are being discussed, this is a great time to jump on that bandwagon and start talking to your clients, right? Because they're watching the news, they're listening to the radio, they got friends and family members that are talking about what's going on and talking about their rates and their, their house and what's going on there. So for me, I'm going back to my past client list and I'm reaching out to every single client. Okay. I'm calling them, texting them, sending them an email. One way or another, they're going to reply back to me. I normally use text, but I hear that sometimes, not everyone is texting these days, right? We've got different clientele, different technology levels. So we need to meet every single one of them. So that was another thing that I caught from a top producer that I wasn't doing. I normally text or call. He said, well, what if they're unavailable for either one of those, but they can get their email? Okay. So you want to hit them for all different directions as you can. Make sure you get in contact with them and to show them that they're obviously important to you. Okay. But what I'm doing is I'm offering everyone obviously a free mortgage analysis, right? Simple email. Hey, Mr. Jones, I hope all is well. I hope you've been enjoying your new home. Interest rates have actually come down a little bit. Should be a good opportunity for us to take a look, see if we can save you any money or not. I mean, that's really about that simple. Monday or Tuesday work for you? What's the best time? Right? Try to narrow them down to a day and time. And then at that point in time, we're going to go through an application again. Oh, yeah. You got to fill out another application to find out what you want or what you qualify for. Need to pull credit, right? Because your debts have probably changed. You might have added a car. Who knows what's taking place, right? However, in order to be consistent and make sure that you're providing the most accurate information that you possibly can, this is the best way of going about it. So then during these conversations, if I got them on the phone and we're going through the application and talking about income and all their credit and debts and all the good stuff, right? We're finding out if they've got equity. Some people have equity, don't know what to even do with it. I spoke to a lady last week. She didn't even know that you could get your equity. She don't know how you can get your equity, right? So all these things that they rely on us bosses in the field for all that information. Okay, so I'm just going to go and explain everything, right? What I see. If I've got a great opportunity for them to save money, then I'm going to explain that to them, right? If I don't, I'm going to say that. I'm at this moment, it doesn't look like there's really a benefit for you to refi. Yeah, we can lower your rate a little bit, but not really enough to, really be substantial, right? So in those cases, and in every case, every person I'm talking to, I'm also going a little deeper, right? This is a great opportunity to ask for referrals. So instead of just saying, hey, do you have anyone that you can refer to me? As a quick response is, no, I can't think of anybody off the top of my head. And that's it. You, that referral mention just went nowhere, right? So another thing I was taught, hey, why don't you grab your cell phone for a second? Go to your contacts. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, what are we doing, Bill? Well, do me a favor. As you scroll through the names of your friends that you text or you call or in your call log, who can you think of that's currently renting? One of my main focuses in 2026 is to help every renter get out of renting if they don't want to rent, right? We all know that there's some scenarios that you should rent versus buying, right? But 90% of the time, you should be buying something versus renting. Okay. And so that's what we're going to focus on 2026. How many people can we get and how many people can we help qualify to purchase a home? Okay. The only way you're going to get a lot of these referrals is to truly ask for them. Okay. So by breaking out your phone and you're looking, oh, yeah, I may think of somebody. As I scroll through my names and my contacts, someone I haven't spoke to for a while, but I know that they're renting. Okay. Do you mind sharing that contact with me? Okay. Is it okay? If you want to, you can contact them and ask them if it's okay. But once again, I'm asking because I'm here to help. All right. If your buddy, your friend has been paying rent and they pay $2,000 a month, and they've been renting for 4 years, they just threw away $96,000 and got nothing out of it. Do you think that they want to talk to me? They should. Okay. But if you need to, do a three-way text, right? Hey, John, I was just talking to Bill, my loan officer, about my property and my interest rates, and you came to mind and you're renting. Bill's got some great first time home buyer programs that'll, get you into a house, your own house, right? So this is the type of things I want you to start thinking about. All right. Every person has, oh, I'm going to say 20 people, and it's probably more than that in their sphere, right? People that they talk to on a monthly basis. I bet they got 20 people that are renting. Yep, I believe it. Okay. So renters is a big group that we're trying to market to, right? So another thing, what are you doing this year that we need to change and or improve for next year? If you're not doing mailings, okay, I know mailings are tough, mailings are expensive, but I can promise you every top team, every top real estate agent, they have mailings going out. They sure do. They have mailings going out to past clients, current clients, and clients that they're trying to get to be clients, right? So you have to think about all these ways. I call them funnels, right? So here we are in the center, right? We got to, how many funnels can we get directing referrals to us? All right. So I think that's probably the way that I get the most of my referrals is just simply asking for them. I know you boss ladies send me referrals and I appreciate you a ton. But that's exactly, what we do, right? So as things are moving, as we progress, rocket that is, after a couple of our acquisitions with Mr. Cooper and Redfin, we're still waiting on some things to, kind of flatten out and get back to normal here as well. And that's including leads too. So everything's been organic. Um, so we needed to obviously do more things to generate more organic business. So mailers are huge, right? They're, like I said, they're costly. But once again, if you want to collaborate, I'm more than happy to help with that cost, right? That's what we do. We split costs when we do things like this. All right. Um, so I know business has been up and down. Um, Probably the majority of business is lower than what it was last year. I started out super slow. This year, I really didn't like come out of the box until April. And normally that's, February. Excuse me. So I remember in February going, wow, things are pretty slow. Well, things were slow because the economy wasn't really moving, right? We had a lot of things going on this year with just rates and what was happening within our economy. But 2026, I'm thinking is going to be truly the year. All right. Even though 2025, my Rocket Local team, I mean, we're breaking records every month for our group. So, as most companies, most people are starting to slow down, we're still breaking records. Okay. That has a lot to do with some promos that we've ran with refis and things of that nature. So it just isn't purchases, right? Because when rates drop, right, it's a great opportunity to refinance. And that's where I go for some more business, right? I go back to past clients, trying to get them to refinance or see if there's a better program that we have for them. Um, and then at that point, I take advantage that I'm speaking to them and see if there's anyone else in their family I can help, right? I know you want to be the boss, the real estate boss for them. I want to be the mortgage boss for them, right? For the whole family. So that's how we kind of work through that. Okay. I want to talk about some programs that should help us launch into 2026. All right. That we just brought on. Now, we brought these programs on so we can simply help more people. Remember, we changed our whole mission statement and everything to help as many people home as we can. That's huge. I mean, just absorb that for a second. We changed everything, logo, mission statement, everything. I mean, as a cost, I couldn't even imagine how much it cost us as a company to do all that. However, we've done it and it's been amazing. Everything's starting to fall into place, and I'm super excited about 2026. So let's dive into 2026. All right. So these are the things that are going to help you grow your business in 2026. I promise you. All right. So right now, we have programs that you can utilize that will help your client buy before they sell. Okay. Miranda and I have one going on right now. Hopefully, it's going to close next week. All the conditions have been met. This thing's been in pipeline 2 weeks. I think it's 2 weeks, maybe. And both loans are ready. Okay. All conditions have been satisfied. Appraisals are good. Title's good. 2 weeks, two loans. We're ready to close. All right. So that's all we're waiting on is they're clear to close. Now, once we get her clear to close, hopefully today, we're also moving that closing up a week. You heard me. We're moving up the closings a week. Impressive. All right. And we continue to do this all the time. So let's talk about Miranda's deal. So they've owned the house for years, tons of equity in it. And so we're using a bridge loan in this scenario. Now, with the bridge loan, you're still going to get a cash offer for your property. Okay. So this particular scenario is a little different than most. Her clients have tons of stuff in the house. Tons. Okay. So in this scenario, we're trying to close as quickly as we can to give them as much time to get stuff out of the house, right? So they can get everything staged. And then that gives her 150 days to sell that property for more than what they were offering, right? Because no cash offer is going to come in there at listing price or higher. You're just not going to see that happening, right? These are investors. These are investors that are looking at the property to figure out if it needs upgrades. If it does, what's the cost of that? If there's any repairs that are needed, what's the cost of that? Because all that's going to come off your list price, right? They're going to do their own research. They're going to figure out what they think the value of it is, and then that's what they're going to offer you. Okay. It is a cash offer, and that's why anything else is there's no contingencies on that sale, right? So if you got someone who needs to sell before or buy before they sell, no worries. We get them the money they need for closing. And then at that point in time, they've got, once again, just like Miranda has 150 days to sell the property. In this case, hopefully the property sells pretty quickly. And then they're just going to take that money and then put it down on the new property. Okay. So it all works out pretty sweet in the end. But let's talk about, these programs for 2026. This is one of them that's going to take you. This prevents contingencies, right? When you're listing a house, they're trying to buy and they're contingent on selling their home. I know, right? It's complicated. Let's make it a little easier, a little smoother. And it's another opportunity, right? So we have the 1.0 temporary rate buy down. This is paid by Rocket. Okay. So who doesn't want a 1% rate or a rate that's lower by 1% than what the market is? Everybody does. I mean, if rate's currently at 6.5, don't you want a 5.5? I know I sure do. I want the lowest payment that I can possibly get. All right. And that's what this program provides. This is paid. So this is something you can't pay for. This has got to be paid for by the seller, real estate agents, or a lender. All right. So we're choosing to pay this for them, for our clients. That's a free 1.0 temporary rate buy down. It's perfect. What was it, a 5.625? I locked one in at. So for the first year, their payments based off of a 4.625. Saved them, almost $300 a month. So that's a huge program right now. Rent rewards. Who has clients that are renting? We all do, right? That's where those mailers should be going to. Your top, cost rental space, rent rewards. So we as a lender, once again, are giving a credit to our clients just because they rent. No other reason, just because they're renting. All right. Once again, who's got that friend or cousin or buddy who's still renting, been renting for 5, 6, 7, 10 years, and still hasn't purchased a house? Those are the referrals that I want you to send to me. Okay. Because something's not adding up. I know that person doesn't want to spend no $96,000 and have nothing to speak of it at the end of the day, right? I'm sure they want equity. I'm sure they want to have their own place. So if they want to, tear that wall out, they can. If they want to make that closet bigger, they can, right? All the things that you want to do to your house that you can't when you're renting. So I want to talk to all those people. All right. So 2026 renters is high on my list, my target list. I've got mailers that I'm going to start sending out. I'm going to be collaborating with you bosses. We're going to do some joint ventures together, some joint mailers. We're going to do all kinds of stuff. All right. 2026 is a year that I think my marketing is going to quadruple. Okay. So back to it. So rent, we pay up to $5,000 lender credit. Okay. So easy math. Let's go back to the $2,000 person, that just lost $96,000. So you're taking that $2,000, you're multiplying it by 12. All right, that's 24,000. You're going to take 10% of that. So we're going to give them a lender credit that can be used for down payment or closing funds in the amount of 2,400 bucks. Just because if that's a $240,000 house, we just gave up 1 point. All right, think about that. You give up 1% of your commission. All right, you only make what, 2.5, 3? If you've got one side, right? These are the things that we do at Rocket, okay, to make sure that we're just a little better than somebody else out there in the market, or we can help one more person, reach home ownership in 2025 or 2026, right? That's all our goals are. So another thing that we've done is we've moved our underwriting to the front of the process versus the back of the process. This is huge. I can't express this any louder or put any more emphasis on this. Knowing that your client's already been approved by an underwriter should take all kinds of stress and worry from you. It does. Lord knows it does me, because normally I'm the one sending out the pre-approvals, right? So I'm the one that's doing all the calculating. I'm the one that's putting all the information in. Nope. So now I still do all that, of course, but now it goes to an underwriter for them to review everything. That's huge. Once again, I don't know anyone else in the market that does this. In the entire industry, I don't know who does this, but we have. Okay. So now we try to get every single client to send in every single document that we need as if we're closing. Simple as that. We want everything. Gives us everything up front. Let the underwriter do their job. So now you get a verified approval letter, right? Versus just a pre-qual or a pre-approval letter coming from a loan officer. No, this is totally different. Now, our verified approval letter states right on there that the client would receive $1,000 if we don't close their loan. Okay, that's huge when you're making an offer. I'm also getting on the phone and calling that listing agent for us. Hey, listing agent, this is Bill Haga. I'm an executive loan officer with Rocket Mortgage. How are you doing today? I can't wait to tell you all about my client and how strong they are. Money's in the bank, credit's good, underwriters already got us approved. All we need is a clean title and a clean appraisal, and we'll close this thing in 15 to 20 days. What? Yeah. 1/3 of the process has already been done. We've already got the buyer, the client approved. So that's really the only two things that are left. Like I said, I just mentioned Miranda's deal. That thing was really, it's been done really since Wednesday. We're just waiting to see if we're going to move the closing up. I had an idea of maybe we can rework the numbers and see if we can figure out a different way of saving any more money. We've done all that. Everything's tapped. Everything's been double checked. Now we're just waiting on our clear to close. We'll have that today. So all that's super exciting. All right. Um, and normally it takes, 25 to 30 days to close a loan. If you ever closed one in 15 days, who doesn't like to get paid sooner? I love to get paid sooner. Okay. Self employed. I know all you bosses are self employed, right? I know I've got a great accountant. Lord knows I pay her, flowers and chocolate, right? Because I don't want to pay any additional funds that I don't have to pay either, right? That's why we hire these people. But at the end of the day, if you're self-employed and you wrote everything off, but yet you want to buy a house, those two don't go hand in hand normally, right? Because when you're writing everything off, that means that your income's a lot lower than what it could be. So we can't use your Schedule C, can't use your tax returns because that income's too low. But what we can do, we can use 12 months of your personal bank statements or 12 months of your business bank statements, whichever. We can do both, right? So then at that point in time, if you're providing a service, we're just going to take 20% off the top and then divide the rest out by 12. I mean, I do these, I normally have one of these a month. One of you bosses are buying, right? A lot of agents come to me to do their personal business. So as I'm going through here, I mean, I see this stuff all the time. Business owners, they don't want to buy a $200,000 house. That's what their income qualifies them for until you run bank statements. Now I run bank statements, they may end up with $16,000 monthly income versus the $3,500 that they were showing on their tax returns. All right. And think about it. Every person that's running the business, an owner, is self-employed. So just think about that for a second when you're driving down the road and you're looking, on both sides of the road and you see just rows of businesses. Those are just rows of opportunities. Those are people that probably don't even know this program exists, but yet they own a home, want to buy another home. They need you. They need your boss education. They need you to educate them on what's out there and what's available. Because in their daily hustle, they're not looking for loan programs. No, they're running a business. And then they're going to soccer practice, basketball practice, football, whatever's going on, right? Because they're parents, they got things going on. They're all doing the same thing we are. All right. So it's up to us, right? We're the bosses. It's up to us to take this information into them and say, hey, did you know about this program? Are you in the home buying market? It's that simple, right? I can create flyers for you, send them out. All you got to do is print them and take them out with you. It's real easy. Okay. Um, Another thing that I wanted to talk about right quick, we've got an asset depletion program. You got a lot of retirees, Florida, Alabama, California, coastal areas, right? Ton of them. All right. How can these people buy properties on fixed income on Social Security when they don't make more than 4,000 together on Social Security? Because they have assets. Okay. A lot of these people sold a home and relocated. Well, they've been in that house for 25 years. They just walked away with 800,000 bucks, right? So for that scenario, 800,000 they subtract all the purchase stuff, right? All the closing costs, your down payment, all your closing costs come out of it, and reserves. So let's say that, I don't know, just off the top of my head, we just take 200,000 off of this. All right. At least 600,000. So 600,000, 84 divided by, that's $7,100 I can use in income per month. 7,100 bucks. And they were making 4,000 on Social Security that you could prove and document. Okay. So I'm explaining these things to you so you think how you can utilize it in your business, right? So anytime you have someone who's elderly, right, of retirement age, 60 and up, that may be the best program for them. If you just take them to the local bank or your other local loan officer who doesn't have one of these programs, you're not doing them justice. In fact, you're giving them the wrong information, right? We're educators. We're supposed to be giving them the best information out there that we know. All right. So now that you know, there's a program called asset depletion that is a lot better than just using their regular income. Okay. We also have interest only programs now. So that's pretty nice. A lot of wealthy people like to pay interest only and then utilize whatever they're saving from that monthly payment to invest in the market, right? If you haven't looked at gold and silver lately, you should. They've doubled. So 2 years ago, if you would have had this same play, maybe pulled 20,000 out of your equity or whatever the case may be, and use that to buy gold and silver, you doubled your money by now. Okay. So I want you to be aware that these programs are out there. So when it comes to the time that you're talking to clients and you hear something that reminds you of, of listening to me talk about one of our programs, that all that, clicks. So you're like, yeah, I've got a retiree right here. I should call Bill. Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's figure out what the best course of action is for him. Okay. That's all I've got for today. Um, like I said, I wanted to thank Maribel for everything that we were doing together. I appreciate you. Um, in closing, I want to make sure that everyone, keeps our Mary in their prayers. The Philippines got tore up pretty bad by the typhoon. Please keep everyone that's been affected by the recent weather situations in our prayers and on our minds. A lot of people lost everything that they've had, right, for years. I know that my family and I, we had a house flooded on 4/6 and still trying to get paid on it. And thank God that, we were able to buy another house while this is going on. So I can't express enough how many prayers these people need. They don't have supplies, they don't have water, don't have anything coming in yet, right? Because what happens is everything gets tore up and then it takes planning, it takes all this. And by then, it's 5, 6, 7 days by the time they get any food or water in anybody. All right. These are horrible conditions. I can't express that enough. All right. So if you're able to, please donate to whatever charitable cause that's helping. Let's just do what we can from the leisure of our homes, right? We've got things. Like I said, I was fortunate enough to buy another home. Just so happened the seller that we were buying from were elderly. They were kind of on their way out, looking to reduce and not take a bunch of things while we just lost everything and needed everything. I mean, I didn't even have a shovel. Well, I mean, just think when you lose everything, you don't have anything. You don't know this or realize that until it's time to rebuild it. And then you're like, God, I need a toothpaste. I need toothbrush. I don't have any, you know, I don't have any socks. I only have one pair of shoes. I mean, all this is pretty tough stuff. Okay. So please keep everyone in your prayers. I will have my phone and laptop on all weekend. So I'm looking to do some business. Please call me with any questions you may have. I'd be happy to get someone pre approved and even under contract, right? I love weekends because that's when most contracts, most offers are being written. Um, so once again, I'm on I'm on duty. Reach out, call me, ask me any questions that you need. Just do me a favor and have an awesome weekend and take care. And we'll talk to you next week. Okay. Thank you. Bye, everyone.